Look at this, there's no wobble, there's no nothing, it speaks for itself. It's good. Laundry's done. Hey guys, welcome down to the shop. It's Ashen from Ashen Warrior Props, and today, we're gonna do something really cool today. We always do cool shit. We're gonna work on, you probably read the title, however, we're gonna be working on a longsword, particularly the Dark Souls style longsword. I'm gonna give you the base template, which you can find in the link in the description on my website. Now, first things first, let's talk about where the hell I've been. So a lot of you I know come from my Instagram and Facebook, but a lot of you I know just watch me here. And you may be wondering, where in the hell have I been for the last 2 months? This has been one of the longer gaps I've taken in a while. End of January, my good buddy Steve calls up. It's like, hey, I have a project that I need help with. And again, if you're part of my social media, you realize me and Steve were literally working for Bandai Namco and FromSoft to make the Bloody Wolf, or the Raging Wolf as it's called in the game, or the quest is called the Raging Wolf, which hopefully Ryan's gonna throw pictures up around here. But we had 35 days to make that costume, and that was stressful. That was the biggest company job, biggest commission that I've ever done. Steve has a talk through over on his channel where he walks you through everything that we did for this build. It was extremely labor intensive, extremely tiring. During all that, we announced that me and my wife are pregnant. We're having a little boy in July. So taking care of a pregnant wife, doing this as my job. I still work a day job. And working on the Bloody Wolf was extremely labor intensive, but I couldn't be happy with the result, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to work with not only one of my good buddies, Steve, great guy, please go check him out if you're not already, but I also got to work for my favorite gaming industry, so it was kind of a double whammy of awesome, but you know, on the flip side, it was a lot. The setup is new too, so we've changed the setup as well. It now looks like a proper workshop instead of a house that I just moved into. But today we're going to be working on the longsword. You find similar swords throughout most video games or movies, so make the small adjustments that you need to, you know, if you choose to make this build. Let's get into it. The build materials. I'm going to start doing build materials. So for starters, the grip, we're actually going to use a piece of wood. I found this at Lowe's in the table leg section. It was like it was a chopped up piece, so I only paid like $2 for it. And then you're gonna need some 4mm HD foam, which that's all that is. So you're gonna need some 4mm HD foam and some 10mm HD foam. I get a lot of comments asking, hey, exactly how much do I need per this project? My answer will for now always be like, I don't know. I can tell you how much it takes me. I try not to waste a whole lot of foam. I waste some foam, you know, sometimes. I've seen some people make, like I've given somebody a list before of what exactly they'll need, and then they'll shoot me a message later and go, hey, I have a bunch extra. That's because I'm sloppy and I sometimes waste a lot of foam, so I don't really know how much you're gonna need. Kind of depends on the user. But yeah, just foam, the wood stock, and a carbon fiber, or is it carbon fiber? Fiberglass, it's something. You can find them at Lowe's in the like door marker section. Don't hold me to that. To start off this build, you can go ahead and lay out the free template that once again I have provided for free, 100% for free, in the link down below for the longsword. Go ahead and download it. You see I have mine already cut apart from blade, crossguard, handle, and pommel. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the blade. So you're gonna lay out 3 rectangles of 4mm HD foam. Lay them out and go ahead and trace out the blade template onto your first section of 4mm HD foam, and draw a center line with this carbon fiber rod, again you can pick up at Lowe's, and just simply cut out that channel. This is going to be your centerpiece that the other 2 pieces are going to be sandwiched between. So once you've cut that channel out, you can go ahead and start laying your glue down. You can lay your glue on the top side once you've traced everything out, and then just lay it on your other rectangle of 4mm HD foam. Once that's cured, you can go ahead and lay it down on there. You can just rinse and repeat on the other side, except there's a caveat. If the centerpiece with the rod is your, you know, peanut butter and jelly, this is your top piece of bread. Trace the blade template on the top piece of bread, oh my god, of 4mm HD foam. Go ahead and do a test lay of it on the middle piece that's got the rod in it, and feel for the center. Once you've found the center, trace relative to that center. Once you've got your 3 layers of 4mm HD foam glued together for your general blade shape, Then all you're gonna do is trace the overall blade template. So that, you know, just take a pen or a pencil. I used a pencil in mine because it's better. You go ahead and cut it. And you know, you may say, hey, so why did I not just cut 3 blade shapes and throw them together? Well, because that's not going to give you a seamless side, which is gonna help with the effect of the blade later. So just trust me, lay it on there and cut all 3 at once. And once you got your blade shape cut out, next we're going to focus on the fuller. And what's the fuller? The fuller is this channel you see right here in the center. So cut the fuller out of the paper template and then lay the paper template back on top of your cut blade, your 3 stacks of 4mm HD foam. Pin it in place and trace the fuller. Do that on both sides just to make sure, you know, it's even, make sure everything, you know, matches. Once you've got the fuller traced out, then what you're gonna need is some blue painter's tape. You're going to tape the blade edge sans the fuller. So you're gonna leave the fuller exposed through the tape, but just tape the blade. And the reason we do this is I don't know where I got the thunk of doing this, but one day I was sanding something and I was like, I wonder if I mask off part of this, if I can get my sanding edges a little bit cleaner, and lo and behold, I can. So this is gonna act as your barrier so that way when you're cutting this fuller or dremeling this fuller here in a minute, you're not leaning over into the blade and that's just gonna create some nastiness. After you've got that taped up, we're gonna go ahead and dremel the fuller. Make sure your edges are really straight with the blue tape, because if you don't, it'll show later. Swap out your Dremel bit for the conical stone bit. I think I've got a close-up of the one I use. And then just kind of go to town with it. The reason we use the conical stone bit for this piece is it is extremely gentle, or it's extremely forgiving. You don't want to dig too far in because then you'll hit the core. You're gonna go gentle. You'll see here I do the forward motion, so I've got the cone facing the direction in which I'm sanding. You can also hold it sideways and go slowly down the edges, but you're just gonna take little bits away at a time. Again, this should take you some time. Don't try to rush through this, because if you do, you're gonna make a mistake. Once you've taken that conical stone bit and you've dremeled out the fuller, flip it over, do it again. And again, I can't stress this enough, take your time with this. If you do this in 5 minutes, you're doing it wrong. You have messed something up if you do it in 5 minutes. Now we're going to switch gears and then we're going to mask the fuller itself. What I did was I took some blue painter's tape, put it in the center, and trimmed it a little bit to make sure. I don't actually think I have a clip of me doing that part. Oops, my bad. Now we get to the coup de grace. Now is the time to shine with your belt sanding ability. A lot of people ask what's my secret with the belt sander. There's not one. There is going slow and taking this extremely patiently. It took me 1 hour and 20 minutes. It should take you that long too. Don't rush through this. I can't stress this enough. I start out with some 120 grit sandpaper or 80 grit. You're going lower grit to take material away, higher grit to smooth it out. So you're gonna start with 120 is what I did, and I'm gonna sand the basic shape. You'll see me squat down in front of the belt sander and run it this way so I can look where the fuller is. So you just mind it, make sure you're going slow. And again, it should take you some time to get the material cut away to get this basic, you know, the sword. Oh my God, that's thin. It should take you some time and go really slow to get the sword shape. Once you've done that, then we're gonna up gears to either 800 or 1000. I did 800 then 1000 grit on the belt sander, and you're gonna just do the same basic motion. You're going really slow and just sanding this, I mean, as slow as you can. Don't try to rush this. Don't, you know, put a whole lot of pressure in here. This hand that you see towards the edge of the belt sander is your guiding hand. This is your pressure hand. So what you're doing is you're guiding it here and you're holding it down here. Once you've hit it with the 800 or 1000, then the blade should feel as though it's just a regular piece of foam. Can't stress enough that you really want to use a high grit sandpaper for your refining to make sure it is smooth as can be for when we plasti dip and paint this. So again, to reiterate, high grit is key here. Once you've done that, you're done with the blade. And what's next is the crossguard. The crossguard is really simple. This is 20 millimeters total in thickness. So you can literally reuse this template on both the top and the side of your foam. So I just glued 2 pieces of 10 millimeter HD foam together, cut out this template. Once that was cut, I laid it on its end, like on the cut face that I just did, traced it again and cut that shape out, and that gives us this really cool crossguard that is the same from every direction. And that's all there is to that piece. It's a simple build. It takes some time, but it's a simple build. Then we have the grip. The grip itself is relatively easy. I'm using a piece of just 1.5 inch square stock of wood. So you're gonna take this, and I actually cut mine in half, so it was 3/4 inch thick by 1.5 inches wide to start with. I traced my handle template on it, and then I went and took it over to the belt sander, and for this I used a chunky grit sandpaper. I used 80 grit sandpaper just to smooth this out and round off the corners to get this nice, you know, whatever. So then what I did was I sprayed some Super 77 on the handle and some 2mm HD foam, and once that was ready to stick on, I just skinned the handle. You'll notice on this one too, I have some ribs in 3 little locations. Those are completely optional. That's just the one that I'm basing this off of is from Dark Souls 2. I just did them with some half-round dowels. And finally, the pommel. The pommel is super easy. Mine is 26mm thick. You can do 20, you can do 24. So mine's 26. I sandwiched some 6mm in between 2 10s. Cut the circle out on the scroll saw, and then refined it on the belt sander. I laid some 4mm strips to create a nice little center ring on mine, right there. Completely optional. Again, this is a basic longsword template. The sky's the limit with what you want to do with it. And then I did skin mine with some 1mm HD foam I had left over from a couple years ago. And to skin it, I just glued it, laid it in there, pressed it in the crevasses.
So Liam neglected to tell you how to actually assemble the thing. You're gonna need to drill a hole through the handle to accept the fiberglass rod, and then cut a channel out in the crossguard that can fit halfway over the sword itself. Once you've done that, you apply some contact cement, and while it's still tacky, stick the crossguard onto the sword. Next, just take the handle and stick that on with either some super glue, contact cement, or both. It should look something like this. Finally, to attach the pommel, take a little bit of that fiberglass rod and have it poking out the pommel, and Liam just applied some super glue to the base of the handle and the pommel and stuck it together. After that, you have a sword.
At this point, I didn't actually record a clip of me damaging this. I didn't do a whole lot of cut damage on this one because this is going to be used in a short film and I don't want it overly damaged for the beginning of my character's story. So I did a little bit of damage. Don't damage this with your Dremel. Literally take your knife and just make some score lines up in there. Make it look like it's been, you know, blocked a blade or whatever. That's how you build a basic longsword, the Dark Souls style anyway. I want to thank you all so very much for sticking around and watching to the end. I hope this helped you out with your current project or upcoming project. I have a lot of fun making these. I have a lot of fun making tutorials. I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure I'm doing it more frequently. I'm done with big commissions until my son gets here in July. I plan on taking some time off obviously for that, but I hope to just pre-record some tutorials that will be just released while I take some time off with my son. I appreciate the crap out of you guys. Be sure to go check out my social medias. Most active on Instagram, so if you want to get in touch with me, please go over to Instagram. Facebook, I will miss those notifications because I absolutely hate Facebook. Check out the link in the description for Blick Art Materials. I'm affiliated with them. Also, go check out my Twitch. I've been streaming there from time to time with, you know, whatever. We always have a blast. It's really fun over there on Twitch. I guess that'll do it, guys. I appreciate y'all again. See you next time.